that water. Uh, Always good to connect with water, man.
Yeah, I know, man. God, I swear the last 5 nights have been like just pure. I don't even know what to say, man. It's just like it's all good though. Feels good. It's just intense. Here we go. They're starting to come on.
You feel intense energies, huh?
Well, when I go to sleep, I sleep like a rock. And that hasn't happened for months, and it's been like 5 nights in a row. I'm like two. Let's see, two. I'm about 3 hours up, and I'm still off the planet. You know what's been happening with you?
That's hard. It's hard to answer anymore, right?
I know, man.
uh, um,
There's a part of
but
me that just wants to close it up and go home.
no, I feel like I'm settling in a way. Um, uh, it does feel different, like you say. It does feel different. I feel like I'm settling in, man. Like hard to explain, but like I feel like I'm not like I don't have like a specific goal in mind. Like I'm just enjoying the ride, man.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today. Like it's like there's a lot of talk about science today. What is science? What is real science? And like, man, I'm just in the science of living, man. Of studying the human life, the science of living, man. And really settling into to observing me and observing just the science of the human life, man. Just to be here, man. you know and it's so interesting to me to feel like every day I can learn something more or feel something new. That's the thing, man. We talk about the energies. For me, it's been like new feelings that I never knew that things I've never felt before. As I'm able to like you say, like supposedly old stuff comes up, but it
Mm,
because it feels like it never is what I always think it is initially. It never is what it appears to be initially. Like I may come across, and that's why, like, these things come up, and it's like it's never ending, a never ending new perspective. Like it never, life and everything, and even things that experiences from, that I've had through my life. It never is what it seems to be initially, man.
I know, man.
And what happened at the beginning of 2020, and my experience with really, you know coming into a community of people, because I had been exposed, through my doctor healer, about the amnesia, and the term light work and all this. But coming into all this sudden boom, all this thing on YouTube and all these other that things. Now I feel like I've been able to wade through that, like settling in, and finding a new perspective on it, like on everything, on life, and really feeling grateful, man, just for the experience, man.
Yeah.
What an experience. And like I said, I'm sure you think I never thought life would be, my life today, and what I'm able to feel. It's nothing what I thought life would
I
life
know,
was.
man.
Like, what life is, or the experience, or it's just, I mean, I don't know how to say it, but it's so, so different than than what I thought or envisioned. I had no idea, man. I
Yeah.
had no freaking clue, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's weird.
yeah, how did I get here? How did this happen? You know, it's like, I don't know,
God.
man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think back to like what you're clicking into and the downloads I was getting last night when I was trying to go to sleep. And it had to do with God, I can't remember the details, but it was like you're a human being and you are in this thick, physical, dense matter realm, and you get to do whatever the hell you want. Like, I mean, you can do potentially anything you can do in other dimensions. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like, I talk about teleporting and dematerializing and rematerializing, but I think this stuff is right there. I really do. I mean, and anything else that would be far fetched before we even thought about this. Anything's possible. That's what I'm picking up. It's like anything is possible. Don't think you have to do this or you have to do this a certain way or this is the only way to get there or it's like you stay open. Be open. I don't know.
Yeah, I really understand now, um, this concept of that, as the vibration in the body changes, that is the conduit to a higher state of consciousness.
Yeah.
And as I'm able to work on that, or hold, that the frequency bandwidth rises, that allows me, and I understand what you're saying, because I feel like it's requiring less movement, like staticky, because there was a lot of talk in the community about people moving all the time, and now I'm experiencing the opposite. Like I can like I'm being able to see creating my immediate surrounding into a vortex, into an energy complex that I can access energies. And like you said, the state of consciousness, very little movement, physical movement, as far as where, if my surrounding, as I create, because that's what I'm seeing, the science of living, the art of living, is how I can see, how I can create in my immediate surrounding, create that vortex of energy. And I can access those dimensions through simple actions, that I don't have to physically go out. I can feel the vibration of nature in this and that,
Hmm.
without having to travel to, if in my immediate surrounding. That's what, I'm experiencing that, definitely, man.
Are you talking about like accessing places without having to physically go there?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would have to go, like, let's say the rainforest here, or a mountain, or the beach, or if I set the intention, man, I can feel the energies if I was there.
Yeah.
I don't need to get in my car and go physically to the mountain. Like I'm able to experience. Like I said, never like get a like the picture is broad, and then if I start local, maybe the continent and even the planet, and maybe tap
Yeah.
into that universal energy,
Do you
and get a broad perspective.
Yeah. Do you feel like that you could materialize in another place?
I don't know, man. Those I don't I you know I'm open to anything.
I mean,
It does.
you're going to that place. You're consciously in that place, right? Like, well, like if you're going to go to wherever on the earth, you can pull you're there with that energy. Maybe not like appearing there, but you're
Yeah,
there.
I started small. Like I live, a mile and a half from a beach. Okay,
Mm,
and I had different spots along the coast that I can go to. But if I'm not feeling, if I know it's going to be crowded and this and whatever, I'm being able to open the window, feel the breeze, and connect, with different parts of the island without having to be there. It's like if I set the intention and I know I've been, what I mean, like I can feel the energy of the mountain, the beach, whatever,
mm,
and I don't have to physically be there.
yeah,
And I think it's just like baby steps, because
yeah,
it's like, because it's like I said, we're learning how to the human experience. And it's like sometimes we want to run before we can
yeah. Absolutely.
before we could crawl or walk.
Shoot, ready, aim.
Yeah, so it just feels like it's requiring, just like we eat less and all these things, the
Yeah.
body, as the body gets lighter, the baggage is like
Mhm.
dropping. Like I don't have, the emotional, what we call emotional baggage. And
Yeah.
so as I'm able to be in the moment now, with less baggage, less guilt, less shame, those moments are shorter and shorter of like, you know if we do something, what I mean, it's like it seems like I get back on track quicker. And so as the mind and body is lighter, then I can, set my intention
Yeah.
to feel the piece of the place that I have, that I'm imagining. Set that intention.
Yeah. This baby steps thing, right? Like the body thing, like these things that are falling away, like kind of naturally. Like we talked about this before. Um, they're just the body's not doing it. Like it just isn't doing it. It's got like almost like a mind of its own. Um, but I this thing with the baby steps, okay, that I can relate to. It's like I feel like I'm being shown a little bit at a time. So like 2 nights ago, I went to bed. I laid down. I was right about to go into Delta State. I was just in that place in between, and all of a sudden, I felt this mad rush, like my whole body just dropped off a cliff. And I opened my eyes, fully expecting to see the void or something, but I was in my room. And then it happened again, another way. And then the third time, I'm in that state, and I remember very distinctly having like an energy ball in my hand, and I threw it. And when I threw it, it was so real. It was real. Like I was not where I was at, but I was. So as soon as I threw it, I opened my eyes, fully expecting to see my arm extended, but it wasn't. And not only that, but my body or my light body or something went with the throw. So it was like a rubber band, and it was the craziest feeling. It was crazy, and that's what I got from it. Like you're getting slowly indoctrinated into this, whatever that is, whatever this is. Yeah, like I don't know. It was crazy. It was really crazy. It reminded me of when I had out of body experience or near death experience. Except when I came back into the vessel, it wasn't cold. Like I guess there wasn't a total separation or something, but it was really weird. And the last night was just lucid dream, lucid dream, lucid dream. I can't remember anything.
I lucid dream a lot, man. you know and it's that's changing too. Like it seems like I was the exposure to things is less time now. Like I'm aware of certain things that we know are going on in the background, and the awareness is good enough that I trust. But like the lucid dreaming, like 3 or 4 months ago, I could definitely feel a difference where I felt like I was traveling and being worked on. They say like I could see, you know, like current, like electric currents, I could feel, something, shifting in my consciousness. Now it's more like lucid dreams of like, you know, experiences, but like with a whole new perspective, like a perspective that I'm finally able to release those things.
Yeah. Yes.
You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I'm
Okay. So
saying?
like, yeah, like the last 2, 3 nights, there's been a bunch of characters from my past that I had conflicts with, or some sort or another. And there's this, what's it like? Almost like the past replays itself. Different choices by everybody. It's a higher timeline, or there's no conflict or contention. It's just like things are being put in the proper place. But yeah, that you bring that up, that kind of, and it's weird because I was having dreams of, I would say, like, parallel experiences, or let's say collaboration in the ethers, in the light bodies or outside of the human body while we're in dream state, working stuff out. But it was almost more like a present or future. But these things in the last few days have been like past, like people from my past, and breaking bread with them, and just saying, telling them I love you, hey, kind of thing. What the hell's going on?
I don't know, man. Like I had a somebody I had a strong connection with. Check this out. In my early 20s, her name was Carrie. I always remember, and this happened in when I was in living in my time in South Texas, and Carrie and I had we'd gone out in college, we were boyfriend, girlfriend, whatnot, and it was a little complicated, boy. That's just a simple version, man. There was a little triangle thing going on,
Ah,
but at that point in time, um, I was down there going to school, and she was living in Germany, and I was going to be an exchange student in Germany. I was going to go, reunite with her. She was 23 years. I was in my early 20s, and after we went to the same college. She went to Germany to live with her stepdad, and I had all the paperwork, everything set up, and I had a friend that spoke German, so I told him, "Hey, can you call? I need to speak to Carrie. Tell her that everything's cool." I was pumped up. I'm going to Germany, man. I was, and it was like late, the hour change. It was late at night. I had been across the border. I used to go to Mexico all the time, so I'd been partying in Mexico. We came across the border, and he made the phone call, and I could see his expression just change. And she had transitioned in a car accident.
Jesus.
You know, uh, like just happened. And it was I was young. It was, and it was something that I mean, I've never forgot about it, but I kind of, those things that you kind, it's, it's put in the background, so to speak. And initially that night, it was very traumatic, and I almost dropped out of school and whatnot, but I ended up, not dropping out of school. And we had a strong connection.
Yeah.
And so that would happen in 1993. So about a week ago, um, and I didn't have any pictures of her. Somebody sent me a picture of her that I knew they had a picture.
Uh-huh.
And so in this thing, all this that we're going through, the loose, like putting everything into its right context and letting go of these things. So I was hesitant, but I got the picture. I pulled it up on my phone the other day, and of course, I pull it up, and it's 10:10 on my clock on the phone. And so I had a brief moment with it, and I closed. And then like I think last night or the night before. I finally pull it up, and so, and I understand it's a physical representation of the conscious. I understand, because we're talking about the transition and the death programming and all this, so I'm saying this is an opportunity for me to also, see what, because when I saw the 1010 on the phone, I said there's something here, that I need to explore. And so I brought the picture up, and I've had some music playing, and I'm having a conversation with the consciousness, and it's funny how the humans have the picture, and I know it's just the physical, but still the picture, and it's been so many, we were young, and so it was so, it was many different things went on, and one of the things that just highlighting one first, I honored, I honor your soul, whether it was a contract or mission, we talk about soul contracts, to go through that young, to transition so young, you know what I mean, and to brave soul, and I felt an energetic charge, like, and then, you know I realized that I had, because of the strong connection, that I've always wondered what my our, had she not done that, would it end up together, what our life, because that connection,
Hmm.
and I've missed her through the years. Life goes on, and I've missed that, because we were friends, we had a connection, man. There was something there more than just, yeah, we party, we hung out, there was something there, man. There was a connection there, and you know, and then I realized maybe I gotta let that go too. And then boom, dude, like you said, of programming, like I realized, damn, I've had fear of rejection,
Wow.
fear of being rejected, man. You know what I mean? It was a strong feeling, man. Like, wow.
Did you feel her presence?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so, man. I was talking to her, man,
Wow.
and I
Yeah.
know the music because she introduced me to Fleetwood Mac, man, and she was into that progressive rock
Mm.
and the Fleetwood Mac, and the Fleetwood Mac song came on because I had it on shuffle, man, and then at the end of our exchange, I said, "Well, what do I do here?" And the song came on that said, "Just live your life and be happy." Mark Anthony song. So I know but then that fear of rejection, like, like let go of the expectations of, like, is it going to be a reuniting or whatever, and this whole thing, it's very powerful, man. But I remember my daughter was like 10, because you mentioned your daughter. I had this similar experience with I tried to discipline her, and she looked at me and said, "You're a bully." And that was that was the end. But I remember my daughter one time, like, she was little, and I was talking to her about this, her Carrie, and she's like, "Dad, she was like 10, man." She's like, "Yeah, yeah, but see, that's okay." It was like she was like it was meant to be, because if she was alive, then you would have had me with mom, and I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have me, your angel, you know. So I was like, okay, I always thought, well, was that part of a divine plan, that she would, so quote unquote, our experience, so that it's all these things
Hmm.
that sort of connect in the end, that my daughter would say, well, then you wouldn't have me here, your angel.
Yeah.
And so, but it was a very powerful experience, and putting that into context, and my fear of rejection. We talked about the distorted relationships, and I felt love, like I felt her presence, and I felt a true love exchange, man,
Wow.
with no expectations,
No
with
strings. No
no
strings.
strings
Yeah.
attached.
Yeah.
It was just like a respect for her journey, whatever. her consciousness, and but I felt so like a respect for mine, and how, like we were learning from each other.
Yeah.
Like she was like feeding off my experience, and I was learning from her experience. I was receiving information and programming, like look at yourself, look at your fear of rejection, of what it is to really, you know, have a connection with no strings attached, nothing, it was very powerful, man, in line with what we're talking about, man. And so I felt like that's been put into perspective. And I have this idea, maybe that some in the near future, I have to delete that picture and just
Let it go.
let it go, man.
But it's crazy because I'm
Maybe
finding
I'm
that,
wrong. I haven't done it yet
well,
because if it
you
gets a
could.
part of, I mean, she's helped me, like, in you know what I mean. Like it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I don't know what because like I said, I'm learning, man. From a different consciousness, learning to be, like we talk, learning to be human, man, learning
Yeah.
to process these things. um
Yeah.
but
It's crazy because some of the so we realize these attachments. Oh, am I back? I think I'm back. But can you see me?
I can see
Oh
you
yeah.
coming in
So
clear.
yeah, like we figure out, we've been conditioned, we have these attachments, these labels, these roles, these habits and patterns, and then we get them out of the way. And then you have these attachments to something like that. Like the really subtle, kind of stretched into the heart, like something like that. Like what if, like you were talking about, what if, what would have happened, or anything that's really, you know, a love frequency, like a light frequency. And even those things have elements of illusion, I guess is would be the word. I mean, but what I'm finding is these things let go, they come back much greater. They come back containing what you let go and just 100-fold more. And I don't know what this is. But like what I was getting to, like the last 2 3 nights was the what you said at the beginning, which was the just the I don't know what the right word is, but like the honor and the reverence. It's a bigger word of being a human right now, like being a part of this right now. And I was like mind blown. Like I was getting like you have the potential to do anything that we can normally do outside of this realm in this body. Like this is new territory. And then the other thing I was getting to is like all of these timelines, like think back, think back, think back, lucid dreams, dimensional experiences, the timelines that were shown, the timelines that have folded, and how we're converging onto one timeline, the only timeline. Like, what is that? Does that include everything and everybody outside of the physical realm? Like, I mean, it's mind blowing. But like you said at the beginning too, it's just you get up every day and you just go. It's really like moment by moment. And you said something else too. I'm sitting here yesterday for the first time in a while, and I was going, God, I need to do something. I need to do something. Like I've got to do something. I've got to build this network out. I've got to do something. And I have 3 or 4 or 5, 6 things in my head, and then there was another part of me going, you don't need to do anything. This is part of your the impediment in your flow is thinking you've got to do something. So I'm like stuck there going, okay, but I know I need to do something. And then the other part's going, no, you don't, because that something will appear. You know what I mean? Almost like you're walking down the sidewalk and you walk past a fruit tree and a branch just kind of comes down with a piece of fruit, you know, and you just pick it, like as opposed to going and constructing something and, you know, create, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's a weird space, but
Yeah.
but it feels like it's continually becoming more clear. I don't know.
It's one of the, like a small, I was thinking too, I guess, symbolic thing that I'm grateful for is that I don't have to set an alarm clock, man.
Yeah.
It may sound, yeah, like I don't, like I haven't set my, I realize I haven't set my alarm. You know, I've made some changes in my life, and I could see that, Len, I get up when I get up, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that may be something insignificant, but to me it's been a major more like in the moment, like the benefits have been just, you know, incredible. And so I don't have a ritual, but I have a routine, and I don't have rules, but I have guidelines, and I respect those guidelines now. And like the simplicity, man, I get up when I get up, man. You know, and I'm going to do what I need to do. And you know, I rarely make plans, but if I do, it can't be before 10 or 11 o'clock, because I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
may not always be in the same, you know, not a ritual, but there's certain things that I do, and it's so much joy and fulfillment, you know. And you know, I talked to my rooftop. They put these 5G, and I built a garden up there, man. And I could see the fruits. I'm getting like eggplants and peppers and all these things, man. You know, and the hours that I spent up there. And I was gonna at one point in time move. Oh, there's 5G in my building. I gotta move. I'm like,
Hmm.
what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Why are
Right.
you running? And now it's like, you know, such a peaceful space for me. And the vibration of touching the earth and planting a seed, this, watching something grow and staring at the sky. And like you said, real, what I'm going to eat a fruit smoothie. What do I want to put in that smoothie?
Hmm.
What fruit? You know, what do I want to do next today? What do I want to do now? And something comes up, I can sit with it. You know, it's just, I never, you know, just what life for me is unfolding, and feeling comfortable in that, and losing the what others think of what, you know, like, what do you do with your life? I can't explain to you, man. I'm living, you know. And then also anchoring in my community, in the building, you know. Like Jim, I think James Jance yesterday,
Yeah. Yeah.
what a great show. Like anchoring in my immediate surroundings, in my building, in my community, you know. And I can recognize, like, you know, humility is like truth to me.
Yeah.
Being truthful and not being, you know, not ego. Yeah, I know that I'm anchoring light, and it's reciprocal. It's not like you say, it's the equal energy exchange. At first, I may not recognize it from the other end because my ego's, but now
Yeah.
I can see how it's an equal energy exchange, you know, in my immediate surroundings, and how I'm able and just the garden too, how these neighbors that moved here from Alabama, how that has become a conduit for powerful conversations. Interesting how and it seems like the energy, because eventually it came up. There's a young couple, and she's, you know, they were into the medical emergency and all this, and like for 2 or 3 weeks, I didn't say anything, but eventually, you know, you get that little nudge, you know. And they, you know, like they were saying, well, all these irresponsible people and this and that, they don't want to cooperate, as you know. I was like, and I just said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not participating in that. And they were kind of surprised, you know, because, and at first there was a little exchange, but you know what? I've seen the beauty of how it became a non-issue, man. how it's just, and how our relationship, it eventually, aside from the initial conversation, she knew where I was coming from. I understood where she was coming from. This is a
Yeah,
young girl,
yeah.
and and it's just the beauty of it, man.
That's a good story. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was. As I'm listening to you, I keep remembering or slightly remembering things that were coming in last night. But I believe it was in dream state. But it had to do with basically, I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't even about forgiveness. It was about um, accepting other people's paths. I mean, that's a weak way to say it. Accepting and respecting whatever their perspective, their life, whatever their lifestyle, whatever. Yeah, that's what it was. It was almost like a this is how it's going to go kind of thing. Like there's going to be less and less and less of debating and arguing and people trying to convince people to come live in their box and all that stuff, you know. And actually, if I think about it, I think I've seen this happening a little bit more loudly the last few weeks, even given all the energy stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because one thing that I've, through my experience, like this came into, some people, a friend of mine approached me, and it was interesting that I knew her from 12 step and Mars. She's like, I want to know about the other side of the veil. I'm curious, you know and we talk about modalities and pathways, and my experience more and more is coming to be that if I'm searching from the heart space, whatever is in my highest alignment is going to come into my field,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, whether it's a book, whether it's a particular healing, whether it's, that more and more, I don't have the need or to suggest a path to anybody, or to suggest, to even think because it's worked for me, it's going to work for you. Um, and that as long as the intention is there and it's pure,
Right.
that has literally has, and I believe me, I've been through many different paths, you know um and then you mentioned the other day Emmett Fox,
Yeah.
and I was standing one time in front of a used library, like when I early in my quest, about 7-8 years ago, and something said, go into that library, there's a book there for you. So I go into the library, not searching for the book, whatever, and I find this book, Emmett Fox, Sermon on the Mount. Great book. I
Hmm.
read it, changed my perspective on a lot of things, and I did that. Then I went and got into the Santeria, the African Yoruba.
Hmm.
I went pretty far, a couple years, until one day, after not ever reading the Bible I said, well, let me, what's this thing with the Bible? Let me start. I haven't read this thing in 40 years, whatever. So then, like 2 weeks into that didn't. I read this thing about it, and so then all of a sudden, I take my all my Santeria stuff, all my Yoruba, I
Mm.
pack it in my car, I drive around, find an empty lot, and I just leave it. And obviously,
Wow.
I'm scared as like, oh shit, I really did it now, you know. So I've taken many a paths, and they've all served me in a certain way, you know. And believe me, the Emmett Fox before that, I don't know if you recall, there was a challenge in social media about 8 years ago, um, about the burn the white Jesus challenge. You ever heard? You didn't come
No, I never heard of that.
with the white Jesus something. There was a brother, man, in the South burning image because of the white Jesus or whatever, man. And I was working in a recovery club then, and I'm starting my journey, getting clean and whatnot. And somehow me and this dude, we challenged, well, let's do that. Yeah, yeah. So I went to Walmart, the new temple I call Walmart, and there was like a CD, these things of Jesus, and I'm burning, dude. And then I'm looking through the window. I really did. I'm scared. What have I just
You're
done?
burning them in the Walmart?
But no, I bought a CD, like a
Oh,
Jesus,
okay.
anything. I was looking for anything with an image.
Of the white Jesus.
Yeah, and to burn it. And I sit there in my kitchen burning this, and then I'm scared. And so, but then I read into the Emmett Fox book, and that kind of opened, it was a really cool experience. And then I went to the Santeria, and then I started reading the sacred, and I put that away. And so, it's like I know about searching and letting go, and
Yeah.
recently I'm down to maybe 5 books in my shelf. There's this thing here where you have a free book exchange. So I went and took away all these books and I left them for somebody else
Wow.
to read them. I took my diplomas, I put them in a bag. All these, from college, all these, you get rid of identity.
You throw them away?
Why? Yeah,
Did you
because
throw them away? Yeah.
I have them in a bag in a cellar. I haven't. I'm thinking what I'm going to do. Like I want to bury them or not, but it's like I'm trying to, like like let go of all these, obviously identities and honor my path
I
now.
wonder if you're feeling the alignment of that. I wonder, like I think Xana just said Morgan had written this last post Morgan put up. She had 90. They weren't even all of them because she has a storage in Adelaide from like 4 years ago when she moved out of her house. But she had like 70 or 90 journals with her from over the years, and she was told, burn them, throw them away. And she was going to record, she was going to record the words on audio. That was one of her projects. But her higher self told her, burn or throw these away. So she did it. And then the next thing you know, her computer, which is only 15 months old, gets corrupted on the Microsoft software side. And all of her files are gone. So it's the same thing, right? Like it's the same thing. And I wonder if this is just happening by, either by conscious effort or just by coincidence, which we know is not a coincidence. But like you throwing your books out, there's something to this. There's something to this. Are you like, I feel like I'm in a state most of the day. I'm either doing a show or I'm talking to Morgan or I'm in solitude. And in this space of solitude, there's not really any thinking going on. It's just like being in this space of just me and the universe. It's weird. It's really weird.
No, it's good. Like the other day after I went through my morning, I opened the window, I felt the breeze. I was just told, I sat there for about 2 or 3 hours feeling the breeze in silence. I do it. I can relate to that.
It's
just being, like, forget thinking, forget analyzing, forget about,
like I had to go to the bank today and pay rent. And by the way, Heather, she got her computer fixed, and I think thank you very much everyone that assisted her. I know she sent thank you messages out. I had to go to the bank today to pay rent, and it was like the biggest fucking ordeal. Now, nothing happened. I had to get cash. So I had to go to the ATM, go to the other ATM, because I went the other day. I had to go to the ATM, go to the bank. The lady's nice. They see me every month. It's no big deal, but it was such an ordeal to get in the car, turn the ignition, pull out the driveway, drive up the road, turn left at a stop sign, turn right into the bank. It was just such an ordeal. Like there was a part of me that didn't want to be doing it. I wanted to be back in this space, right? My trash comes on Mondays. I haven't been out. Today's what, Friday or Thursday? What is today? Friday? Yeah, Friday. Um, and my trash can is still sitting was still sitting on the front yard where the trash guys left it because I haven't been outside. I haven't even looked out front. You know, it's just weird what's going on here. But it's good. It feels good. It feels right. Then you have things like Franco transitioning and all the energies that that brings up. Then I've got like sessions, doing sessions with Morgan. That's pretty amazing. Like there's just all this, you know, but it seems like the future and the past are pretty much wiped out. It's pretty wiped out. It's just like you're just present. You're just here. And it's a bit strange. And like I said today, or yesterday, I was going, well, I need to do something. I feel like I need to do something. I need in the word need or have to really, it really is not something I resonate with, you know, but I just kept thinking, shouldn't I be doing something? And then I would start to do certain things. And remember when I was talking to that James Jans guy, he's like 5 emails in one meeting and I'm done. Like he was just talking about how he can't work at the pace he used to. I think there's a lot of us like that. And like you said too, it's like you do more exerting less. At least from a physical perspective. You accomplish more with a lot less energy because it's a different methodology, right? Like what you were talking about, going to the beach without having to drive down the road and go there.
Yeah, and I've given up on the idea that like I'm really comfortable with what I do right now.
Hmm.
If you know, like I don't like I you know, regardless of like I don't just I enjoy that I can I feel like I'm really connected to the energies of the day, the morning, the sun, the afternoon, the breeze, the plants. Like I'm having a ball. You know what I'm saying? Like I look forward to being in peace, to being connected, to feeling like this new energy, like the past, like you said, is disappearing. The future is like just it's like I feel like I'm comfortable. Like if this is like now, I'm happy, dude. I don't need like that need to do something to. I mean, I'm cool, man, with just the huge because the like I said, it exploring, just being into the human experience, the science of living and learning so much,
Yeah.
and like tapping into that potential. And to me, what's the biggest thing is been the guilt has been leaving me, man. The guilt and the shame and the
Guilt,
remorse
shame, blame,
of like past experiences, through addictions and whatnot, and
people.
people and all these things. And if I do something, like, yeah, I get off track, something like it just doesn't last. It's like
I
I'm able to
know, it's
laugh it off,
crazy.
like just laugh it off.
It's
I laugh at
crazy.
myself and just go to the next now moment, man. It's
Well,
like,
it's like I was saying with those lucid dreams, these are people that have been antagonists, and yet the energy, uh, the feel of the dream is one, it's not even of reconciliation or explanation. It's just a matter of, hey, man, I love you. Like almost like we're in a higher perspective looking down going, oh, we're watching the movie and this is what we did. But I can't even explain it that way. Allison Glenn said, has if anyone had blurred vision lately? And Robbie said, yes. I have too. I had one morning I couldn't even see the computer screen with these glasses on for about an hour. So that's happening too. The whole thing with the body's happening. I just saw a post by Judith Kuzel. I think it's going to be on not this Saturday, but next Saturday again. And she was talking about how she got some kind of some type of session where there's an internal kind of a scan, and she was saying that what the lady was telling her was what her guides have been telling her, which was about all about the internal transformation to include the physicality, the DNA, the whole nine yards. And I really feel like that's a big deal right now. Like the body hit like a point of full clearing and is now recalibrating, reforming everything. Right? I mean, so that in itself is a whole different animal. Like that's just like, we don't, like you said at the beginning, we don't even know what we're getting into here. Hung Nguyen is experiencing weird ass vertigo. That fits her.
She's
No,
funny, man.
oh, she's hilarious. She's a nut.
And you mentioned this thing with Franco, man. I'm gonna get this off my chest,
Yeah,
man.
man. Let's get it off our chest.
I'm gonna get off my chest, man, because when you did the first video live, and you said, and this is just my personal experience with it, that he had a wide grin,
Hmm.
and he hasn't decided. To me, that was telling me he was leaving.
Yeah.
With the smiles, like, you don't know, like a lesson, like one last lesson, one, because like I
Hmm.
said, it's not gonna be what it seems,
Like
what
a
it
shaman, like a
yeah,
shaman would do.
yeah, it was like I saw him, like a smirk, what I mean, like when you say when you woke up and you saw Jesus laughing, like
Hmm.
that type of energy.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was it, but what was strange was, then during the session with his son,
Yeah.
um, I didn't know what to expect, and then halfway through it, I was like I wasn't sure, man. Like something didn't compaginate, like it didn't make sense to me, where that energy I had, where he had decided, that he was leaving, and like I felt like I was in it, like forcing something that I had no business in it, and it was like maybe that was the lesson or something, but it was halfway through the deal, man. I was like, wait a minute, something here doesn't feel right.
Right. You're right. I'm glad you said this. You're
It
absolutely
did. It
right.
didn't feel right, man. It really didn't. And I've been searching for the lesson for me in it. You know what I mean?
You
Uh,
know, I think you're absolutely right. I even got pulled into it. I knew when that happened, what you were referring to beforehand, I knew that he'd made his choice. I just knew it innately. And then when that other thing happened, I got pulled to the other way. I actually got into wishful thinking. I got into telling myself a story that somehow miraculously, you know, there was going to be a turnaround. And I think, I don't know exactly, like, I don't even know what you just said, but I know the energy of what you said. And I said, yes, I'm glad somebody said this, because the best example I have of trying to describe what you're talking about is there was three ladies, because I got a bunch of condolences sent my way through Messenger, and there was a lot of grief in those messages. There was something in those messages that I did not resonate with. I understood it, but I saw it for the expansion that it was for him and for us. And so then, like the next day, two of the ladies wrote me, and a couple days later, another one did, and they all said the same thing. They said, "Hey, I just figured this shit out. My grief isn't about Franco; it's about myself. I'm not missing him. I'm missing the part of me that I haven't looked at." Like they were recognizing, recognizing the program, the suggestion of death, of loss, and of lack, and they were took it inwardly. And this was out without anyone saying anything. So this is 3 independent people, and I'm sure there was more. So there was something about what he did. I say he went out like a boss. Like he went out like a boss. He got the most. He got the most for impact for his action. And I think a lot of people are there was maybe he was part of an energy complex or a team that was anchoring in the reality of eternal life or the soul or whatever you want to call it. But, and I've continued to see repercussions of that as others have gone into the hospital, others have transitioned, and watching the field, you see a lot of please send me healing, please send my friend or relative healing. I mean, there's something happening here where that's getting brought into alignment and getting straightened out, just like what you've been talking about. Really, the same type of realignment you were talking about, just in a different way earlier in the show. Hey, Hung has a question for you. Taíno, did you feel like we were intervening or something else was intervening with Franco's transition?
Well, I guess I mean I don't from knowing him because I was one that I started watching the Advancing Consciousness series. I would watch the whole thing when it came out, and I through you talking to him, I knew his aversion to Western medicine and like I guess I'm just speculating, but I had the energy like Franco, in the situation he was in the hospital, and and I guess knowing now what we know that he was going to have to be there for a while, and he's not. That's not that from what the Franco that I know. That's not something like if I had the choice, you know what I mean? Like that to be in that situation, spend months on end in a hospital or go on to something else. And I guess to answer Hung's question, to be really, really honest, man, uh what felt like it was intervening in like it didn't feel genuine like when it was suggested that we envision Franco leaving, healed and leaving the hospital and this and that. It's like, why am I envisioning something for somebody?
Yeah.
Well, that's for him. I'm
Yeah.
sure he can envision his
Yeah.
own outcome.
Yeah.
What that's what I felt like. It was a
Yeah.
combination to answer a question. Like I felt like halfway through the deal, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I,
Yeah.
envisioning like that's like we talk about, like, I know what's good for you. I don't know, like
No, you're right. You're right.
whatever, it's like respect the path. And it just felt like I felt like it was forced,
Yeah.
like something was being forced upon, and then, my mind, is like, I just, it just,
No, I get you. I get you.
I don't
But and
understand.
I wonder how much force that free will, especially when there's a group, actually has, how effective that's been in our past. Because I'm thinking like, if you think about your own life, especially when it comes to addiction or bad habits, is a good example I can think of. Um, how many times my free will overrode and vetoed my instinct and innate knowing. Like my big Todd going, hey man, don't be doing that. And the little Todd going, oh no, I got this. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. You know what I mean? Almost like overriding the natural flow. And I see this kind of the same way. Like, because I bought into it. I bought into this momentarily. Morgan snapped me out of it the next morning. But I thought, oh, he's going to do this. We're going to do this. Here's the new storyline. The new storyline is he's going to make this dramatic recovery to usher in the physical transformations that's physically evident in front of our eyes of each and every one of us. Like I bought into this thing. So
I felt myself forcing myself to buy into it,
mm,
you know, when I really wasn't feeling it.
yeah. Well, and I can see, and again, I think if I look at those three ladies' messages that they sent, um, they were saying that their original messages were all about themselves, being projected as concern about somebody else. So they came to the conclusion in the second message, unsolicited, and they said, "Oh, it is about me." Okay, but not the way I was making it. I was unconsciously making it about me. Now I'm consciously going to make this about me. So I was consciously giving my focus over to the storyline, and then when I snapped, now I'm understanding it's about me and it's not about what I was giving my focus to, which is another way of what you're saying, which is, everybody has their own path. You can't tell me what's good for me. I can't tell you what's good for you, you know?
Yeah, and it was strange because talking about Hung, it's like she's when she was on and she was connecting all these dots, right? Like that before that group, the healing. Remember that?
Yeah.
And when she came on,
Are you talking about the first one? The one that I
yeah, I
did?
remember. I remember she came on and
She
she
came
was
on right before we did the
talking about the
first one.
TP and all this,
Yes. See, that was to me that was very relevant, and I'm not comparing the two at all because I see the perfection of the one Mark led. But in that one, and it was because of Hung's appearance beforehand, and it was already headed that way, but it was a very clear that this is an equal energy exchange of sharing and receiving. Like it can't just be sending all of our power over to something outside of us, even if it's for someone to heal, because it's depleting us. So there was that part of it that I think was kind of like accentuated by Hung's appearance on this show right beforehand, because she had all that intel, which was significant because the intel is like synchronicity to me, right? I mean, like when it comes in like that, it comes in sequentially to what's happening.
I got from it though, the equal energy. I had that intention because I felt really resonated when that was talked about, when she was talking about that in the show,
Yeah,
not depleting, and
yeah,
I felt like like I got from it to a little bit more release, or not being so attached to this experience we call life, you know
yeah,
um, because if that's like I was, if death is a program which I resonate, then so is birth, because then if there's no death, then that really wasn't birth, then maybe it's just inverted, where what we call death is a birthing of something new. We're like in a womb, and what we call birth was really the end of something, and now we're about to, so it could be inverted, but at least from looking at it, when she said go equal energy exchange, I got that I was able to release a little bit more of the death programming, and just for me it's like, don't hold on, and don't bring other people into it either. It just didn't seem like Franco would it didn't match his energy, man.
mm-mm.
you know that
I think it was about it. It was a important collaborative expression. I think what it did was it really amplified prolonged sadness and grief and loss and lack, and what seems to be happening to us this year, which I think is is relatable is we get saturated with, let's just call it the old programming, or the 3D paradigm programming. We get saturated with it until we just go, kind of like what's happening with COVID and masks and quarantines, for all of the stuff that's being put out there. People are just going, you know what? I'll take my chances. You know, you know what I mean? It's like you get overly saturated with it, and I think that's what happened. Although it was also, a demonstration or a declaration of the love for someone.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think for me, it maybe it was, both of them were equally important, because both of them were like our journeys, walking with one foot in each world, basically walking two polarities. So here's a polarity of celebration. Here's a polarity of let's just say, the old emotions or whatever. I don't know how to explain this. I'm not trying to compare one to the other. What I'm trying to say is almost like it ushered in this new way of seeing what we call death, that it is a celebration. Um, in fact, Kimberly's going to come on, and she's obviously going through in her own way. And I try to talk to her every couple of days, and we spoke with her the other night. And but I just remember 24 hours after she told me, 24 hours, something like that. It would have been, she told me early in the morning, like 5 o'clock. So that day went on, that night. She had a rough day. The next day I talked to her. The next night I talked to her. So it would have been the night after. And she was incredible. Like, I could see where she had transformed uh, that program. Now, not to say that she not gone down a little bit up and down, but, and I remember Morgan saying, wow, because I was telling Morgan about it a couple of days later. And she's like, yeah. And you know what happens is, when we have that type of perspective, and in this case, it's that specific issue or that specific program, which really to me blankets all of them, but you open up all this other stuff. All these things are limiting us. And when we take in the full expanse of it, it opens up a lot of stuff for us. So I think this is part of what we were talking about earlier too in the program.
Yeah, he definitely is somebody that specifically with, and I know one day you mentioned something about you were listening to the radio, and it helped me too, that you asked, the universe guides, this Jesus programming, and you were told it doesn't matter. But my what I call my reconciliation, or my opening up to the energy of Jeshua, Franco was instrumental in that.
Yeah.
And you know how many times, like, I wanted to say something, and then you would ask a question. I'm like, no, 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 and then it would happen in the next show. And he, for me personally, talk about celebration. He was a conduit. I mean, the things that, because he always said, he said, Jeshua, my guide. Like,
Yeah.
singular. I always played. I always thought he had like a drop in as one of the disciples. I always had that inkling, but he kept saying, Jeshua, my guide, and he opened up that portal for, not for me, but he was instrumental in me, by listening to those shows with him, opened that portal for me that I had shut down,
Yeah.
due to resentment and programming, and just religious indoctrination, that I was blocked. And that's been beautiful in my life, to open up that channel. And so that I felt a strong connection. And I think everybody has their own experience, but for me personally, he helped me a lot to open up myself to that portal, what
Yeah.
we call Christ consciousness.
I was really pleased. I keep tabs on the different platforms. just different platforms. I talk about it sometimes, and I was really pleased because I never could understand why he wasn't drawing more views, more numbers. And so it was a pleasure to have him come on twice a month. We did, I think, 51 shows, and because he would get, two, three, 4,000 just on one of the platforms like YouTube, when he go on with us, and then I always keep a track of his stuff, and I would notice it would be, 400, 600, 800, and this is over a 2-year period because he started doing these around the time COVID hit, February 2020, the Advancing Consciousness. But I saw one last night when I went back to his archives, and one of the earliest ones, it was up to 10,000 now, just on YouTube. So there's something about that body of work that they produced, which I believe is around 200 videos, that is kind of like a living library, and I think will be some reference for knowledge to someone or to some aspect of us or another civilization or something. I don't know, but and I don't just say that about him. I say that about really every one of us. What we're leaving, this imprint that we're leaving, um, some it will be useful to someone. Maybe it's us again. Who knows? But it's going to be useful.
No, and see, he was straightforward. It wasn't a lot of woo woo,
Right. Right.
not sexy,
Right.
galactic thing. He was, and he really helped me too. The message that I got, what is seeing with guilt, releasing guilt and shame, and just seeing as everything as just an experience. The
Yeah.
judgment of was supposedly what my past, what others did, and no, he would just say, listen, you can just shift, and that things that you would release that, and then and a lot of people, and might be shocking when somebody you're holding on to this grudge for life because somebody did something to
Yeah.
you. They abused it, did something terrible, and then here comes Franco saying, oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
it was perfect. Thank him, thank them for it. And so initially, depending on whatever programming I'm carrying, that could be a little bit of a shock, a little bit of incredulous there, like, well, what do you mean thank them, and seeing everything for the beauty as that it is, as just as an experience, you
Yeah.
know and he helped me a lot with that, um, especially with interpersonal relationships with I guess with childhood trauma and parenting, my parents and all this and that, just seeing everything, the human appreciation for just the experience. It's just an experience, get the judgment out of there, man. And he said, he would say that when you realize we heal until we realize there's nothing to heal.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And and the other thing about him too is when now some of this he told me privately, so I can't remember what was what, but just well, no, some of it was out in the open. I remember him talking about maybe 6 months ago, coming on here and talking about how he had discovered a mask, an identity that he had created to deal with his parents as a young teenager, like a method that he used in order to insulate himself, that he just discovered. This was in Sedona, that he had just discovered in his life, and he was unconscious of. So to hear the people that because obviously everybody has something, everybody has a piece, even if they don't think they do, but to hear some of these people, such as the way he was and is. to be able to say, oh, I just found out this blind spot about myself, or I just found out I was a fool, or they show the human side of it. Like you said, there's not all that woo woo stuff. Yeah, just being a human.
Well,
And he told me that when he at 4 years old, when he was given his first conscious kind of a state of the situation, he was 4 years old, and was explained to him. Some things were explained to him, and they told him at 4 years old, the most important thing of everything else that we're telling you is you got to be human. It's the human experience. So this is a guy that had full recollection of several other planetary incarnations, not to mention the whole story going back about 15,000 years of the Earth. From the womb, his twin brother in the womb who didn't physically make it, countless, experiences. And at the beginning of the journey, when he's given the directives, he's told the number one thing is to have a human experience. So I'll tell you something. Evidently, my picture keeps freezing. Yours is moving. I don't know what's going on.
I hear you.
I
It's
just
the
got a
energies,
I just got a
but
message that I'm picking my nose and it's frozen. I'm thinking I should. Well, what the hell? What else is there?
well, another thing that did to me is like, don't put anybody on a pedestal. Like we're all on the
Mhm.
same boat,
Yeah,
because you know he obviously, and then I guess I was one that he always talked about his health being compromised, and he speculated on brain. You came out and said he had Lyme's disease, which I
yeah,
understand is an autoimmune
yeah. It's
disease.
autoimmune. Yeah,
And so he said, in every, a lot of people, it's autoimmune diseases are associated with energy blockages and
yeah,
things, energetic imbalances. So
yeah,
whether his path, he chose to experience that, or whether, whatever it was, it was just a regular human experience
yeah,
with like you and I and everybody else, and that there's nobody. I mean, eventually, like I think that the gurus are going to be out of work, and
yeah,
the because uh we're realizing we come to a space where I better trust my intuition and guide myself. And I've had, we all need a push here and there, and I've had a lot of people help me along the way, but at the end of the day, it puts in perspective that we're on the same level.
yeah,
As long as I'm incarnated in the physical body as a human being, and that maybe ascension is not vertical, it's horizontal. It's just an expansion that, like, it's all encompassing. And because I do it too, it's just part of the programming, the reverse savior, where we look at people as,
yep,
we put them on a pedestal. And I do it, I've done it, that we think that they're, above me, or like the complex, like,
or you're above them.
yeah.
Hey, it
Yeah.
works both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because then you look at somebody that
but
you
it's
think that we call extras, or somebody who's
yeah,
asleep, or
yeah, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
who's
I'm with you, man.
like, oh, well, I'm above them,
I'm with you 100,000%. I think everyone, the playing field's being evened out, and we're all getting it. We're all getting the business one way or the other. And I've watched it with myself. I've seen it. I've watched other people. You can pick up on the intricacies and the little nuances and their energy. It's easy. For all of us. But yeah, I just I think it was a big deal. I think it was a really big deal. October was a huge deal. I think he had a massive role in it. I think we all did. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's but I will say, and I'm looking forward to Kimberly's not the type that wants to come on the screen, but she recognizes, and this is not for any prodding from me whatsoever. She just says, "Hey, I think I'd like to come on and talk about this because I think it's important." And I think the things that she'll want to talk about, because she's extremely connected, like Morgan type, and she doesn't, people that know them personally know her. They understand the impact. They understand that it was a 50-50 proposition, you know. Um, and so it'll be interesting to see what she has to say.
Her voice, man, what a voice she has.
Oh,
Like the voice, her tone, and everything when
yeah,
she would interject in the,
yeah.
in
She's amazing. Yeah, she really is. She's
like
amazing.
what a voice. But yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's given for the people that we tune onto the show, and
Mm.
and the Soul Speaks is a part. It's a part of my life, and I know it's a part of a lot of people's lives. I think it's brought the community together, so to speak, because it's something that we went through it together.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I used to look forward to Franco Friday,
I know, man.
and it was like,
Yeah.
wow, man, like, and it was, I wonder what he's gonna come up with this time, and it was fun, it was like a happy hour Friday. It was like,
It was,
it,
wasn't it?
it was like a happy
Yeah.
hour, and I think that, like I said, we all went through it. We all, everybody. It's like it brings us together, and that's how this thing worked, because I think it's an experience now to share, and to everybody obviously has benefited from it in some way, shape, or form, and we all process it individually, but it feels like just a coming together. It's just strange how once again how the death programming is how somebody transitioning has, so yeah, we missed the happy hour, but now I can see how it created a togetherness,
Mm-hmm.
uh, 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 for us to ponder these things, and the love, and that there's a stronger bond between the people that watch the shows, Franco Fridays, and it's something that we treasure, and we take that forever. It's just, I think it's a beautiful thing how we don't know, man. It's just
No, it is.
how
It
how
is what
these
it is, right?
how
Yeah.
these things that apparently are bad, they end up creating, like
Everything's
love,
up. Everything's upside down, right?
inverted.
Yeah. Everything's upside down, dude. I enjoyed it. I don't know how that was an hour and a half. Jesus Christ, man. Did it feel like an hour and a half to you?
I don't know, man.
It
Like you
didn't
said,
feel like.
that feels like we
Yeah,
started talking 10 minutes ago, but
I know. It's
that's
tripping
how
me
it
out.
goes when you're having fun, man.
We got 2 more shows today, and
Good deal.
I'm not. I don't remember who it is. Who is it? Let's see.
Two
Cleo.
two
Oh,
ladies.
yeah, Cleo Moore and Chastity Ann. Chastity Ann is a friend of, I believe. Uh, I just forgot her name because Hung put up a great comment. Franco galvanized his community even during his last breath. Dude is a true workaholic. Yeah, I'll say so. All right, brother. I'll see you in a few weeks.
Much love. So family, take care.
Peace out, brother. Hey, I checked out a couple of your YouTubes, man. They're pretty cool. I'm digging it. You keep
Well,
doing
I
it.
got the word from you, man. Said turn on the camera and speak. So I said,
There you
okay,
go.
man. We'll do that once in a while, man.
Right on. All right, brother. See you later.
Enjoy.
Bye bye.